Hey guys. Okay, so I am Ashley Kirkwood, founder of Mobile General Counsel, which is a trademark law firm, also the founder of Speak Your Way to Cash, which is an um, speaking platform. So we have a podcast, a conference coming up in October, way off, and a variety of products and services for speakers specifically. And I wanted to do this live video because I've gotten quite a few requests from speakers asking how I'm handling the coronavirus. And as someone who booked quite a few engagements this month and next month, I'm going to share with you all what's kind of been going on with that and how we've decided to handle it as a company and what I recommend and how we've been able to kind of make this whole horrible situation work. And I say horrible situation because it's kind of bad. I mean, even if the numbers right now are low and your chances of contracting the virus are low as stated by at least Chicago, the city of Chicago this morning, the pandemic and the hysteria around this situation and acting out of an abundance of caution has caused quite a few events to cancel their programming. And for speakers specifically who speak at live in-person events, that's become a problem. We weren't at first seeing it as an issue in the collegiate market, but schools are closing down. One of the events that I was supposed to speak at for a large public university was canceled because the entire statewide system has decided to cancel classes, refund housing and food payments to students, and totally shut everything down, right? So there is some impact there. The great thing is, as a speaker, there's a couple of different things we're going to go over. One, how to handle client cancellations. Two, contracting. And then three, pitching during this time. All right. Because you still should be pitching. There are still things that you need to be pitching for. First, look, you guys, people on Facebook are not medical professionals. I shared a post from my OBGYN, Dr. McDonald, who is fabulous. I highly recommend her. That basically just outlined what the medical professionals are saying. I would recommend, for your own sanity, for your own safety, for your own families, listen to medical professionals. Okay. Like people with MD behind their names as it relates to how to stay safe during this pandemic. Listen to medical professionals. Look at the actual numbers that are coming out. Make wise decisions, but do not operate out of fear. Okay. There are a lot of people who are like, oh my God, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to, If you're stressed, do not talk to me. Like, I ain't got time for that. So as just a personal note, the folks that I'm listening to, I listen to medical professionals. I read the city, because I'm an event organizer as well. So I read the city of Chicago's guidance and guidelines on events. As of right now, they have not imposed restrictions on all events. So you want to be really careful about who you're listening to. Don't, I can't tell you not to stress out, but aside from the business side of it, which we're going to talk about, listen to medical professionals. Okay. I am pregnant. I'm 8 months. My doctor has not told me to be quarantined in my house for any one reason, and I am not going to be quarantined in my house for any one reason. So that's, I listen to medical professionals. Do not get caught up in Facebook MD people. And even with the news outlets, actual medical professionals have been criticizing the news and the media outlets for utilizing this as a way to increase their ratings. I don't know if you all knew this, but the actual numbers for media were way down before President Trump took office. He's really good for the media community in terms of his outlandish tweets, all of that type of stuff. Anytime they're able to kind of put something on repeat, clickbait, all that type of stuff, that is marketing. Is this a big problem? Yes. Should you be safe? Yes. But listen to medical professionals. Follow the guidelines of your state. If you are going to travel, look up the news about that particular person. Someone asked me, was I going to travel? I was. The precaution, now this is a precaution I was taking because I was pregnant. So if you're a speaker, you still have events, you still have out of state events. What I was planning to do, what me and my husband had agreed to, was that we were just going to drive. Less interaction with people in airports. We didn't know what was going on in airports. You do know that O'Hare, the airport we used to travel out of, is an international airport. So because of that, and just out of an abundance of caution, we were just going to drive to our next event. Not a big deal. We drove to Virginia last year. We were going to drive to Tennessee. We planned to just drive. So thinking of driving as an option, if you're really scared or you want to be even more cautious, is fine. It's cost effective, not a big deal. The other reason we plan to drive is because when you speak for a state university, now we're going to get into the business side of this whole speaking world, you do not get paid until after the event. That means if you buy flights that are non-refundable, even if you can like transfer the flight or change the date, for a lot of these events, we don't know when the rescheduled date will be. So it was important to me that I wasn't out of a ton of money. And typically with rental cars, you can cancel the day before, no big deal. So you want to be really, really, from a financial perspective, think about your transportation costs. If you're working with state universities, oftentimes I've never had a state university pay me up front. There may be other speakers who work differently. I've never had it happen. The good news is they've always come through and paid. So what I have seen in terms of my clients is they've either gone virtual. So I still have my virtual events next week, or they have postponed events, not canceled the event. And in the event that they've postponed, I'm still contracted to be the keynote speaker for those events. Now, I don't know when those events will be. I have maternity leave coming up. And so what one event organizer has stated is that we're going to work with the speakers to reschedule the event at a time that works for everyone. So that's only fair, because here's the thing. My contracts state that if you cancel this close to an event, I'm still owed the full amount of my payment. And my contracts always get signed before I put a date on my calendar. So technically, there is no this is not carved out of my contract. So they're not absolved of the contract because of this specifically. So you do want to check your contract terms and make sure that your contract has been reviewed by an attorney and that it covers you in this instance, and read your contract really, really, really specifically. But here's what I want to go through first. One, handling client cancellations. The way you handle the cancellations and the way that you handle this situation, because it is new, it is unique. People have passed away because of the coronavirus. It is something that we should be cautious about. The way that you handle this will determine how you recover from this. Okay, let me repeat that. The way that you handle this determines how you recover from this. Now, I'm a lawyer. Could I have been like, oh, no, you can't cancel. I demand full payment, blah, blah, blah. Under the contract, yes, we have that right. However, if I want to build a long-term relationship with this client, then what I need to do is I need to exercise empathy and exercise wisdom and make sure that I am working with my clients to handle this in a way that they can recover and everyone's safe. I can be fine and everyone's safe, etc. So I always recommend having contracts, but I also recommend having a real conversation with your clients and game planning your recovery plan with them. That way, you're not just out here thinking about yourself like, well, I'm supposed to get paid. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. Okay, well, yeah, but here's the thing. The thing is that you don't want them to think that you're not an empathetic person and that you're not someone that they want to work with. And for most of my clients, 75 to 80% of them rebook me within a year. I don't want it to be a situation where this ruins our future business relationship. So I have been very, understanding, taking their lead. But when they first say, okay, we need to cancel, we need to do this, we need to do that, you be the calm person. You should go from contractor to consultant real quick and ask them, is virtual an option for you all? Have you considered utilizing a platform like Zoom or some other platform so that we can still deliver the same value and everyone can comfortably watch the conference or the event from home? Is that an option for you? Always suggest that. Always suggest that, and then make sure you're set up to provide that service if that were to be the case. So for all my speaker fam, I want you to call Comcast, Xfinity, RCN, whoever you have your cable with, and make sure you have the strongest Wi-Fi known to man at your home so that we can still deliver these high value, high quality engagements and keynotes virtually. One of the questions that I've received about virtual presentations is, how do you charge for that? And whether or not I give a discount for virtual presentations. The fact of the matter is, the value that you provide during a virtual presentation is the same, if not greater, than the value you would provide in person. So the answer to that is no. If your contract goes from in person to virtual, then here's what I would suggest. One, keep the price the same. You can do something special for them because this is a unique circumstance and say, look, I'll do it virtual. And then something that I'll do that wasn't in our original contract, just because I know this is a unique circumstance, is I'll give you a 30-day license to replay the presentation on your platform without an additional charge. So you just allow them to play it, but you want to position it. I will give you a 30-day license to replay this particular speech without an additional charge. So there's always different ways to package it, but you want to be the trusted consultant. You want to be level-headed. And I said this not too long ago. If people are paying you to solve problems, then your job is to look like the solution, not the problem. And as professionals and as entrepreneurs, and that continues throughout this period of time. So we always need to consistently show up as the experts. That means we have to have factual data that we're quoting and or reporting from medical professionals, city agencies, state agencies, the CDC, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. So you want to use really reliable sources for whatever you're going to quote and state. I don't get into the jokes of it all. I mean, if you want to have, honestly, this is how I think of it. Your clients are looking at your social media. Would I joke about the coronavirus if it were me? No. Why not? Because you don't know what their connection is to the situation. You don't know whether they've lost someone from it. Joking about it just isn't going to make you look like a professional, in my opinion. So if you are a speaker that follows my methodologies and my programming and everything else, I would remove the jokes from your page, because here's what happens. Clients follow you on your private social media platforms. They are looking at how you're handling this, how you're talking about this, the information that you're putting out, and they're making determinations about, can you be a long-term partner even in a time of crisis, or are you someone that doesn't really know how to handle difficult time periods? And as hard as it is, we still have to operate from a place of peace, because without being at peace, you really can't plan. So we've talked about handling client cancellations. I would first always offer them the virtual option. Second, I would want to be clear that when they reschedule, I'm happy to update the contract or the dates that mention rescheduling. Otherwise, we'll have to continue to operate under the current contract. And I know you don't want that. And you can say this is a one-time thing. Well, let's amend our contract. Let's touch base in 2 weeks and schedule that follow-up call for when they're going to be back in session. So as of now, I know that some of the schools that I work with are out until mid-April. Okay, great. So it's on my calendar to call them mid-April and follow up with them and figure out what's going to be the plan. So you want to have something like that going on. Here's the other thing. This is a great time to have a client-specific newsletter. So something that only goes out to your clients and that tells them kind of how you're handling it as a company, what you're doing to be safe, and how virtual presentations are still a phenomenal way to get the message out there. So having something that goes out weekly keeps you top of mind. Perfect. Also, for all your other clients that are experiencing school closures, company closures, everyone's working remote, just reach out to your point of contact and say you support them during this time. Like, hey, I support you guys. Here's an article on how companies have been able to work remotely successfully in the past. Be a consultant. Be a trusted consultant during this time. Be calm. Be consistent. Do not give in to the hype. Like, literally do what you need to do to be calm and consistent as a consultant while still staying safe. So you want to think about that as well. The last thing I want to talk about, pitching. You still need to pitch, okay? And so right now, what I would recommend is, if you are pitching to someone, it doesn't make sense to pitch in a vacuum, like to pitch them and don't even mention what's going on in the world. Everyone right now, regardless of whether we like it or not, regardless of whether I like being stuck in the house or not, people are concerned and thinking about this, which means your clients are concerned and thinking about this, which means that what they are focused on right now is the safety and the liability that this could potentially cause for their employees, and for people that they are responsible for fiscally. So if you're going to pitch during this time period, your pitch needs to be specific to the time period that we're in, which means for the next week, every pitch needs to have a virtual component. It means for the next week, every pitch needs to be reasonable and responsible and sensitive to what may or may not be going on at that person's company. It needs to add value to them, and it really should be topically related to what they have to deal with. What does that mean? If you are a corporations person and you can speak on how to manage communications virtually for managers, and you can deliver that presentation virtually, and it's something that people can stream from home or attend live, that's great. If you do wellness, then you need to be talking about how you can work out from home, how your employees can continue their wellness plans from home and what that looks like. If you are a consultant, your packages need to make very clear we are a company that is set up to handle things virtually for the foreseeable future. Happy to chat about what that looks like. So just make sure that you're not ignoring what's happening now. And I also don't think that the whole like, I get it. Some people do their business online. Most people are diversified. I think being diversified is great. It is phenomenal. It's necessary during these time periods, but you want to be really cautious and empathetic about how you're coming off. Because when people are deciding who they're going to work with during times like this, it's going to be people that they can trust and that are consistent. And so, yes, you still have to show up. You still have to send emails. You still want to do your social media. But because a lot of us schedule, you may want to amend or at least add some components in your marketing plan that address what everyone else is thinking about right now. It is unfortunate that it's all over the news, that it's taken over everything, that people are super scared, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're going to continue to do business during these next couple of months, which I foresee, hopefully a couple of weeks to months, which I foresee as being kind of centered around how we're going to combat and handle this, then you want to make sure that you are at least addressing the elephant in the room. But it does not make sense to buy into the hype and be really careful about how it's affecting you personally, right? So if you are someone who this is like, you've lost several clients, like I'm not going to lie, losing 10 grand in a month is not fun, right? And so if that's where you're at right now, take a step back, watch a Disney movie, and then plan strategically for how you're going to move forward if this were to last over the next 2 quarters or 1 quarter, etc. But you can specifically, everyone can have an offering for their clients that adds value to them even during this time. And so you want to make sure that your clients know that you are someone who can adjust, who's flexible, who's reliable, and who's ready to do what it takes to keep everyone safe, but also deliver high value products. Because here's the thing, most companies cannot afford to shut down for 2 to 3 weeks. And so they're going to need something additional maybe for their employees to do while they're home. And for some companies, this is the first time that they've ever been forced to send people to work virtually. So if you're someone who specifically can help them through this process, then let them know that that is something that you can do to add value to them so that they can come to you and figure out, okay, all right, I know we need this done. We weren't really considering this. How soon can I get you in here or get you online to train my managers on how to manage people virtually? Or how soon can I get you to do a wellness workshop as a bonus for employees who are freaking out? Or if you're a mental health expert, how soon can I get you in here to talk about self-care when you can't leave the house? So you want to think through how you're going to be a resource to your clients during this time. Now, what do we have that can help you out? All right. So you all know I'm doing the Speak Your Way to Cash conference in October, long ways away. But for those who sign up before the end of this month, we're doing a raffle drawing. So March 31st, is it 31 days in March? I think so. The end of March, we're going to do a raffle drawing. And what we voted. Okay. I voted in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. If you're not in the group, you should join. So those are my peoples. We voted and you all voted that the best bonus to get would be to have a drawing for one person who signs up before March to get a virtual VIP day with me before the conference. And we're going to do the VIP day before the conference because it's going to be that much more helpful when you get to the conference. You'll be so much more focused, clear, and you'll be able to directly apply what you learned there, which will be higher level strategies to boom boom out your speaking business. I announced that we have someone from a senior Forbes contributor coming to the conference to talk about pitching to Forbes and also writing to Forbes and sharing how she became a contributor for Forbes. So that's going to be amazing. It's going to be dope. Now, everyone's talking about virtual. So for the next 3 weeks, we have 2 virtual challenges. You do not have to leave your house to participate in either the Sell Your Signature Challenge and the From Pitch to Paid 2. This, I believe, will be the last From Pitch to Paid challenge before August or before July or August. And it's been wonderful so far. The results have been great. I just got an email from someone who was like, oh my God, I think I'm addicted to pitching now. And I just confirmed my participation on a panel. So people have been getting results from a $39.99 challenge. Low investment, high value, super high return on investment. And it's just great. So during these challenges, the way they work, I send you an email in the morning. You have an assignment to do, and then we do a live training each day of the actual challenge. Now, if you're going to do the Sell Your Signature Challenge and the From Pitch to Pay Challenge, here's what I'd recommend. Sign up for the Sell Your Signature Challenge first, and at checkout, you should be able to get the From Pitch to Pay Challenge for $30 versus $40 or versus $39.99. So you get like $10 off. So if you're going to do both, just do the Sell Your Signature. Sell Your Signature starts Monday, okay? So Monday, we're going to be live noon every day in the private Sell Your Signature group. The results that people have seen is great. And the purpose of Sell Your Signature is so that you can get a very good outline and or go further. But I want to help you get the outline because you can always fill in the other stuff later. But you want to get a really good outline of your signature speech or signature program, and I'll be there to help you every step of the way. And so it's going to be really, really good and tailored. We're going to talk about which topics you should be pitching into colleges, corporations, and conferences, and how any topic. So you all will send me the topics you want to speak on, and we'll talk about how those topics specifically fit for those particular groups. So I think at Sell Your Signature, we have about 12 speakers in it. I love having about 30 to 35 speakers in all of my stuff. I just love, I think that number is the number that I can easily know who's in the group, get to know you guys, read all your emails, read all of your stuff, and give you the personalized attention that you need. So we have spots in Sell Your Signature and From Pitch to Paid and the conference. So here's the thing. I think we have like 7 or 8 people signed up for the conference for October already. They will all be entered into the drawing. The chances are very high. Like if it's 1 in 10, if we get 10 or 15 people that sign up for the conference and we 50% sell out of seats for the conference, we have 30 seats, then that the odds of you winning are very high. Like this is not like lotto odds. So get in for the conference. One of the things we did that has been really helpful for folks is you can sign up for the conference, put down your down payment of $75 and pay on it until like September. Some people's payments are like $45 every 2 weeks whenever they get paid. And then they don't even feel it. By the time it comes, they'll be like, I paid for the conference. This is great. So you definitely want to make sure you're there. And I've been looking at venues. I think we're going to do it in the heart of downtown just so folks can experience the city a little bit if they want to go off for dinner or connect. But I'm stoked. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a smaller group, so it'll be safe. It'll be good. We have awesome presenters and some really cool things planned. It's going to be really hands-on. I'm going to actually see you guys speak. You'll get up, you'll speak in front of the group. We'll talk about pitching. We will do more role playing in that regard. You'll hear from clients about how they are receptive to pitches, how they like to be pitched. So that information is invaluable. So I would encourage speakers. I mean, I know it's a little bit of an uncertain time, but here's what's certain. People who plant seeds always reap a harvest. It's just a matter of when. So it's not a matter of, if this will ever pass or how will we ever get through this. We will get through this. And more importantly, if you take the consultative approach to client development, you will start to become an asset even during times of uncertainty. So if you have more questions, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer questions and chat with you guys more about this. But I definitely did want to come on here and just let you know, like, I get it. I felt it financially. We're doing what we can to make sure our clients feel secure and safe with us. So far, we haven't had any cancellations. We have had postponements. And that's the other thing. You want to be really clear. If you were contracted to speak somewhere, you want to make sure it's a postponement and figure out when would be a good time to follow up. If it's a month or 2 months, then make sure you follow up. You have to follow up. Okay, that's critical. But do not stop pitching. If you are booked somewhere to travel, I was asked, would I go? I would go. If you can drive, even better. If you have to fly, be safe. Do what you can to not be so close to people, but you have to do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. I don't think it necessitates, stopping your life at this point. Adjusting, being more cautious, yes, but stopping doesn't quite make sense to me based on the guidance that I've seen as of today's date. Okay. As of today's date. Also, pandemic deals with spread, not numbers of deaths and illnesses. So you want to be, even when you're using these terms like just look stuff up. be vigilant, read, do what you have to do, but listen to CDC, EPA, see what your state and your city actually recommends in terms of traveling and group congregations. And in Chicago, those things are still fine, especially under a certain number. The events that have been canceled have been in the thousands or hundreds, close to thousands, not smaller events where people are congregating under 250 people. So keep those things in mind, and things will develop and things will change. But I do hope that everyone's staying safe and calm and doing what they need to do. And as just a tip of advice, to the extent you care about how I think about these things and how I process these things, I am a firm believer that nothing happens to me, everything happens for me, regardless of what it is. And I have to repeat that to myself in order to just keep things in perspective. And it's based on my belief system. So if I believe in God's yes, I have to believe in his no. And so and I got that from Loy Webb. She's genius. But one of the things that I do tell myself in times that are a bit uncertain is like, okay, nothing happens to me, everything happens for me. And if you keep that front of your mind, you keep that belief front of your mind, you figure out how you can be an asset in situations where everyone else is freaking out, then you will always be able to survive and sustain through anything. So, prayers to families that have been going through this and it has directly impacted them, and the elderly and those who have pre-existing conditions that may complicate matters. Just prayers to them, and we want to keep them in mind, and which is why everyone should be washing their hands, staying safe, following guidance. But the additional stress of blowing things out of proportion or listening to people who aren't exactly experts, I don't do that. On Facebook, you have to be very careful. Okay? If I listen to my doctor, I shared my doctor's posts. I will continue to listen to my doctors and medical professionals. But other than that, you guys, I wish your businesses blessings and the best. Digital products are very helpful at this time. Virtual things are going on. If there was a dope virtual conference, I would go. I would use this time to really evaluate my business and see how I can do things differently and better serve my community. But we're going to get through this, guys. Okay? Okay. And if you all have questions, just let me know. Leave it in the comments. I'll come back in and answer them. If you're joining either challenge, if you've already joined the challenge and you haven't gotten the emails, there's only been one email that's been sent out. So let me know if you've gotten that email. If you have any admin issues or tech issues, let me know. Email admin@Passion, Purpose, and Paychecks. If you can't remember that, DM me and I will make sure that we get it all handled. But yeah, guys, hope everything's going well. We're doing well over here. Baby update. Baby's doing good. Everything's fine. And I feel great. So have a good day.